We lost our cat at the beginning of the year. It was uh it was his time. He was 18, maybe 19 years old. Super old. My goodness, when we first got him, I wasn't even a freshman in high school yet. It was definitely his time. And it was painful, obviously, as it would be. And I talked to my spiritual teacher the day after that happened and explained to him the situation. And he said, yeah, man, the pain associated with connections to others, that doesn't really seem to cease, no matter how aware you become. If I had heard that back in 2018, when I started down this journey, that would have been very disappointing for me to hear, because I do think part of the reason why I got started, well, broadly the reason I got started was to end pain of all sorts. And so if I found out there was even any individual kind of pain that would be untouchable, that would have disappointed me. But specifically as it pertains to people, because navigating the human world and dealing with people has always been one of the hardest, scariest things for me. It's gotten a lot easier in recent years, partly because of the work that I've been doing on myself, but yeah, the pain associated to connections with people and the loss of said connections. That isn't one that I think I should expect to go away anytime soon. But why is that? I mean, it seems counterintuitive, that it seems like if I become awake enough to realize that this is all just an illusion and people are nothing but a bunch of concepts and descriptors and they're not even real, then why should I feel any sort of pain from losing another? I know I'm talking about a cat in this particular instance, but you get the idea. Connection to another. If it's all just a bunch of dream figures, shouldn't I be able to handle those losses in stride? Well, unfortunately, you also develop a deeper universal love through the whole process. That's obviously not unfortunate, but the downside of developing a stronger, deeper universal love is, yeah, you want to see the persistence and vitality of all things. Even more strongly with the things that have been with you for a long time and have meant a lot to you. And that love can become even stronger and deeper, which can make the sensation of pain be even stronger if it's gone. What I would just want to ask me of 7 years ago, who's starting spirituality, at least in part to avoid any sort of pain, is like, do you really want to have no pain in the face of a loss? Do you want it to not faze you at all to have a loved one leave you, or if it's not through the actual process of passing on to the next life, do you want it to just mean nothing to you if somebody can't be friends with you anymore, or in a romantic relationship, or this or that other kind of relationship ending for whatever reason? Do you really want to be totally numb to that? In the most selfish hours of life, I think yes. The most self-centered hours. It's like, man, if I could just care about certain people a little bit less. But it's one of the great gifts of existence. Even in this dream world, that we get a handful of other dream figures that are all of the same source, but of varying different qualities and descriptions. And some of them we have the gift of forming a close bond to. But I do have to ask myself the question sometimes of, like, if I did have the option, would I turn off the pain of caring about somebody if that meant that I could sidestep the pain of losing them? I don't think that I would. The people who don't feel strongly about other people and who don't feel any pain related to losing them, those people are labeled with a certain psychological diagnosis that I am not going to name because I'm not a psychologist, and also because I don't really know, so I'm going to sound like a real doofus if I name the wrong one. But it's not the kind of person I am, and it's not the kind of person that I aspire to be. Also, Joe, in your worst hours in the past, when you're the most depressed and the most down on yourself, isn't that one of the things that you're most worried about? Is that you are one of these psychological anomalies that just doesn't have empathy toward anybody else and only cares about yourself? That's what you worry about, right? Because, yeah, in the past I have acted selfishly and then thought, oh man, how could I do that in a way that was so dismissive of other people? Am I just a... And first of all, if you're even worried about that, the answer is no. Yeah, there's obviously some level of love and care that you have for all things that you already have access to. Like, it's already there. And the shroud of thoughts and egoic identity and all kinds of other things, just basic immaturity of being young, can get in the way of seeing that love and care that you have for all things. But it's always there anyway. Similar to how I've talked about how in your true nature there is always a calm, serene stillness, equanimous with everything. And that nothing needs to be manipulated. It just needs to be seen that it is already there. In the same way, nothing needs to be manipulated to have a deep, resounding love and care for all. It's just a matter of seeing that it is already there. And developing enough presence of mind to feel what is already there. Before all else. As I've gotten older, it's felt really good to have a real, genuine cry over losses of things. Losses of people, I should say, specifically. I think I was cut off from that love, or intentionally shrouding it, because it leaves yourself more vulnerable to the pain of connection. But when I've had an honest-to-God breakdown sometimes, of just tears uncontrollably coming out of me because something has ended for whatever reason, with another. My time with another has come to a conclusion. That's just reassurance to me that I have access to that love. So yeah, that pain of the connections we have with others is still there. And it probably will be there for the rest of my life. And it might even get worse as I continue down this integrative path. I shouldn't say worse. It will probably get stronger. And I just welcome that. Like all other sensations that one can feel, it's a reassurance of the experience of being human. We need the full spectrum of things for as much as we wish that we could chop off parts of that spectrum sometimes. But I will say the joys of connection have also gotten infinitely stronger for me over the years. Partly because of the greater openness my heart has to the pain.